Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the League of Europe YouTube channel for round 16 of the Formula 2 season. My name is Aidan Carter, otherwise known as Car Mentalist. You guys know me by now. I'll be taking you through proceedings in Formula 2 as always. And as always, joining me in the commentary box for tonight's race will be QVR Daka. Daka, how are you this evening?
Thank you, Aidan. I'm doing very well. Yep, here we are tonight for round 16 of the championship. My oh my, has it flown by. And then we are looking forward to the concluding chapter in this championship campaign. A championship campaign that may well end tonight as far as the battle for the title is concerned. 95 points separates Toxic MML and Larkin Flores with 102 points on the table ahead of this round. So, after this round I should say. So it's getting very exciting stuff. So obviously if you do the maths, Toxic has to outscore Larkin by 7 points to wrap up the championship. If Larkin stays within that range, we still have a fight going down to the final 2 rounds of the season. Let's get that started though. Mexico's first up then, and we're going to see if the championship is going to be won here tonight. But even though the Drivers' Championship seems to be on the verge, the Manufacturers' Championship could be closer.
Yeah, it really couldn't be closer. We'll just run you through the rest of the top 10 in the drivers' standings before we move on to the manufacturers. But yeah, Toxic, like you said, leads the way currently over Larkin. Like you said, only needs to outscore Larkin by 7 points to take home the title tonight, which is exactly what he did last season. He obviously won the championship last season at Mexico as well. Verstappen still holds third in the standings over his teammate Campbell. Those two really have been on a run of almost equal form recently, and there's still only 17 points between those two drivers in that battle for third. 91 points further back from them is Zaldama, still holding firm in 5th place ahead of Chill in 6th. Lando continues to work his way up the standings. He's now into 7th place in the standings, but he's 81 points behind Chill, so we don't imagine he'll get any higher than that, unfortunately. Behind Lando, Pease, Miami and Maverick all within 20 points of one another. Battle for that fight, that 8th, 9th and 10th order at the bottom end of the top 10 in the standings. And then, like you say, the manufacturers, with only a few rounds to go, is incredibly close. It is just, I believe, only if I remember correctly, I think it's only 6 points between our two leading teams. Trident are the ones that lead the way over at Prema at the moment. Obviously, Trident 3rd and 4th in the driver's standings. Prema 1st and 6th in the driver's standings. 6 points against them, and they are 295 points clear of the next team, which is Arden, which is obviously their main driver, is Larkin. Just goes to show that those two teams have been just a class above the rest of the field this season.
Certainly, although I believe that Arden was actually challenging near the start of the season, but that challenge has sort of faded away, so we're now looking at a complete 2-team matchup for that manufacturers. We're going to be keeping a close eye on that, as well as, of course, as the championship standings, because that very well could lead to a conclusion here tonight. For the vast majority of this season, it's been an incredibly close-fought campaign, obviously over the last few rounds. Toxic has kind of gone from strength to strength. Larkin has started to fade away. Last round, Toxic had a chance of getting within range of the championship today. It's a bit harder for him because he didn't have a great round last time out in America, but he still has a great chance of wrapping it up. And we're going to see now if he can try and pull it off there. Starting with a one-shot qualifying. All eyes on those two drivers and all eyes on those two teams for the respective championships. So keep an eye out, see what other narratives can fall through over the course of the night and over the course of the last 3 races. Let's get into it then. The Mexican round of the season about to get underway, of course, starting with that one-shot qualifying, then a feature race and a sprint race lined up next. You guys know the format. Let's get this one started though. One-shot qualifying about to get underway.
Here we go then, and we are going to be riding on board with Freak Ronk for qualifying today. He's in the MP Motorsport car coming around the 17th and final turn, getting ready to start this lap. The start line very early on down this pit straight, and this pit straight, one of the, if not the, it is the longest run to turn 1 on the Formula 1 calendar. And obviously this track in real life, very high altitude, so the speeds in Formula 1 here can get up to about 350 kilometers an hour down into the braking zone for turn 1, and then the quick chicane of 2 and 3. It tightens up midway through the chicane, a little bit tight on the exit, so expect some contact there in the race. Now into the second of 3 DRS zones around this track, coming out of turn 3 and down towards the next kind of chicane. It's kind of a lazy chicane, this one, turn 4 and 5. Through turns 4 then comes Freak Ronk, and then into turn 5, and now into the double apex turn 6. slow hairpin this one. It is a good overtaking opportunity if you're running side by side coming out of the 2 corners previous, and now into the proper middle sector, this S section, the back part of the track into turn 7. Don't understeer out too wide. You want to get as clean run as you can through turn 8 and 9, and then into turn 10. So easy to run out wide through 10 and compromise your run through 11, which is exactly what Freak has done. He missed the apex of 10, compromising through 11, down the 3rd DRS straight then, and down towards turn 12. Now we enter the stadium section. The old format of this track would go straight on and around the outside of the stadium. We now go directly into it, into 13, the hairpin of 13, and then into the quick little kink of 14 and 15 before the end of the lap at 16 and 17. Through turn 16 then, don't take too much curb on the inside line, it can bounce you out to the wall, and then through turn 17, already Lando has crossed the line, and look how close it is in the top 3. All of the top 3 within the same 10th at 24.9 for all of our top 3 drivers. That's easily the closest qualifying of the season.
That is remarkably tight at the top of the field. Now, as you can see, Lando gets the better of it. Toxic unable to get pole position in those 4 extra points this time, but I think he'll be happy with this one, because look down the bottom of the grid and what has been in store for us. That is a huge amount of drivers being disqualified for invalid laps, and a few big names down there as well.
Yeah, only 3/10 covers the top 6. What a qualifying then. Lando on pole from Toxic, 2nd on the grid. Campbell 3rd, Miami 4th. That's a good qualifying for Miami, ahead of Verstappen 5th and Chill 6th. Nolan 7th ahead of Spag in 8th. Tim and Alex 9th and 10th in the Uni Virtuosi cars. Then it's Jordan, Philippe, Freak, Gronk, the only people that set times. California 5, Alt Maverick, J. Cole, Larkin, Zaldama, Ivo and Matthias all invalidated their times. Matthias has raced a couple times this season, has showed good pace. Larkin and J. Cole though as well, big names that could be challenging right at the front of the field, invalidating their times. And crucially for Larkin, obviously needs to outscore Toxic to keep his championship hopes alive, and he's gotten off to possibly the worst start he could have done.
Yeah, he's really up against it. We have overcast conditions, slight possibility of rain, but I wouldn't exactly bank on it. We will see how that all unfolds out of this one. But yeah, Toxic, I don't know the last time Toxic didn't get pole position, but I think he'll be happy enough with that. Larkin all the way down there, it just takes a lot of pressure off his shoulders and puts a lot of pressure on Larkin. So we'll see how that unfolds. But I don't think Toxic will be too disappointed with not getting pole, particularly with the nature of this track. It is such an incredibly long run down towards the first corner. The being on pole position isn't particularly strong here, I'd say. The guys 2nd, 3rd and 4th may have a great run because of the immense slipstream you get down in that run. So Lando wrapped up that pole position, but he's going to have a tough time ahead to try and keep it.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing. The run down to turn 1 here is so long. We've seen some incredible moves in real life racing coming down towards turn 1 because of the amount of slipstream you can get down towards that braking zone. So I'll have to wait and see if the same thing applies in these Formula 2 cars. Then Lando, like you said, on pole position. Look out for Campbell and Miami. They're going to be the ones getting the best tow down this straight. They're running 3rd and 4th after qualifying, so they'll get the best tow off of our front 2 drivers in qualifying. But let's have a look as well at the tyre strategy. So we've got a real mix of tyres. We've got the softer compounded tyres really at this event. We've got the super softs and the softs, and look at that. Toxic on the front row has gone for the alternate strategy. Now this is very, very unusual for Toxic. We usually see Toxic throughout the season go for the main strategy you would expect. Start on the softer tyres, go to the harder set for the latter stages of the race. Toxic I don't think has done the alternate strategy yet this season. This might be the first time he's done it, and he starts 2nd on the grid. Tim and Alex 9th and 10th, they're going for the alternate strategy as well. So is Philippe and California. J. Cole and Larkin you would expect having been at the back of the field, and Matthias as well, last in the grid. They're going for the alternate strategy, but that is a big shock to see Toxic go completely different to everyone else.
Yeah, he's the only driver in the top 8 that has selected that soft compound tyre. It is, of course, it may be a bit confusing, but that is the harder compound we have available. Yeah, that is a very intriguing strategic development because it's such a long run towards turn 1. Getting off the line is so crucial, and and he is compromising his own start with less grip from those rear tyres coming off the line. So it's going to be difficult for him to really stay up there. If he can find the right balance of traction, right balance of throw, then he might be able to get away with it. But if he gets that start wrong and those soft tyres don't provide the amount of grip the super soft runners around him will do. You could see Toxic, if he doesn't get off the line well, really slipping down the field because it gets so bunched up down there into turn 1.
Yeah, like I said, turn 2 and 3 as well. It's obviously, like I said in qualifying, it tightens up the further through that chicane you get. So contact is sometimes inevitable at turns 2 and 3. So Toxic's putting himself at risk, but he has nailed starts all season long. He's been so good off the line. That has been one of the reasons why he's been so dominant in some races, is because he can clear off into the distance right at the start of a race. At the back of the field, though, Ibo and Matthias line up on the back row of the grid. So we're going to get ready then for the third penultimate round. The third penultimate round of the season. 2 to go after this one. Championship can be wrapped up today. Can Toxic outscore Larkin by enough points to take the championship? Lights are out and away they go. Who's got the best start off the front? No, you would expect Lando to get the best start. Toxic already trying to move over. A lot of people really struggling for grip off the line. It looks like Miami's the one with the best start. He's already side by side with Campbell as they run down towards turn 1. They're fanning out in the background as well. They're going 4 and 5 wide. Look at Lando moving right in front of Toxic to defend the line. That's opened the line up for Campbell beautifully around the outside, and he's going to sweep into the lead because of it. Lando went so defensive against Toxic, he forgot about Campbell and let Campbell through, and Campbell runs a little bit wide. There's a little bit of a lag on my end on Campbell's end, so he's lagging a little bit, but he is in the lead of the race. Lando drops to second, Toxic drops to third, but Toxic's trying to make a place up on Lando down towards turn 4. He has the inside line, but that will allow Lando to have the inside line for the next corner. He might force Toxic off the road. He gives him just enough space on the exit to keep the car on the road, but he cannot get the move done. So Lando keeps second, Toxic stays third, Miami stays fourth, Verstappen stays fifth. Spags had a good start, he's in sixth in the Dams car. Chills dropped a place, so has Nolan 7th and 8th. California 5 has had an incredible start from 14th on the grid. He's already up to 9th on those soft compound tyres. He's doing a very good job. Alex rounds off the top 10 at the moment, and Larkin's up to 12th. He's had a brilliant start as well, so look out for that as this race goes on. Dream start though for Campbell. Lando got so aggressively defensive against Toxic, he just completely forgot about the Trident driver.
Yeah, it was brilliant track positioning there from Campbell, taking advantage of Lando's sort of defensive driving on the inside. Backed up Toxic, but couldn't hold back Campbell, and Campbell is running away at the moment. 9/10 clear this first lap. Lando's got to try and get switched on here. Toxic on the softs has got away pretty well, I think, and he is sticking with it as well. So, coming through over the line, starting the second lap of this race. Doesn't look like Toxic is going to line up about quite in a turn 1. He does have loaded closing speed. He might just go for it there. He lines up the inside line. Toxic as well, going for second place here. Lando gives it the space on the inside. Holds the line at turn 2 and 3. And will keep that with, unless a better exit comes through for Toxic and Lando's out wide. So now Toxic underneath the rear wing, trying to find that inside line. Lando doesn't allow it then. They come together very slightly there. To the outside now, Toxic running around the long way round as the inside line for turn 5. It completes the manoeuvre. Brilliant stuff from Toxic, and he now runs second on the road. We're seeing yellow flags down there. I think that's Freak Frog has gone round at the start of the second lap, but Campbell still leads. Toxic now second place. Lando looked like he got off the line. Brilliant. Yeah, things can turn around here at Mexico. Now in the third place, and behind a car on slower tires than them. There's a long way to go for Lando, but Campbell and Toxic have done brilliantly here.
That is brilliant stuff from Toxic, and now Verstappen in the background trying to get a moved on Miami into the stadium sections. Not quite close enough, but both Trident cars look faster. Now Verstappen's going to try and dive down the inside line of the hairpin. Can he pull that move off? Miami's going to have the outside line, have the inside for the next corner, gets on the curb, slides the car. That allows Verstappen and Spag through. Spag around the outside. He's had a great start to this race. He's into the top 5, and now Miami's starting to drop through the field. Chill will be the next person to have a go at him. Both Carlin drivers pick up a time penalty on the same corner. That's another thing to look out for at Mexico. Time penalties are very common. Miami, though, now under big pressure from Chill as Chill moves to the inside line, but Miami still has the slipstream off of the back of Spag in front. Meanwhile, Lando trying to come back at Toxic into turn 1 isn't close enough, and in the background as well, there was Chill trying to go down the inside of turn 1, wasn't able to fully get the car alongside. Oh, he spun again. We saw this in USA. This cost Lando a win in the feature race at USA. He spun coming out of turn 3, seemingly all on his own, and from a great opportunity from pole position, he's going to drop right to the back of the field. What a shame for Lando, but that puts Verstappen onto the podium now. Spags up to 4th, Miami's back up to 5th, and Nolan's down the inside of Chill. Chill can get the move on to Miami, and he's going to lose out to Nolan if he's not careful. Chill will have the inside line for the next corner. Can Nolan swing all the way around the outside? They're still side by side coming into the S section. They're giving each other just enough space, but Chill looks like he's going to have the line. But look at the run from Nolan midway through turn 9, has the inside line, but Chill drives clean around the outside of 10 and 11, but picks up a penalty in the process, Nolan couldn't get the move done, and they've been caught by Larkin. What a start from Larkin, 8th already. These soft compound tyres look incredibly fast.
Yeah, look at the progress that Larkin's made already in this race. Toxic with a penalty immediately. And you can see these penalties getting racked up there. His teammate, Chilla's got one as well. So it's Trident really coming to the fore in terms of the Manufacturers' Championship then. Down the field. I think Tim has gone round and the Univirtuos is spinning. Heading in to the second last corner on the lap. That's going to hugely compromise his chances now down into 17th place on the road. They're all trying to filter into later. DRS train now beginning to form. Jaco is on the move. He's trying to get through on Alex, and then Matthias from the very back of the grid is on the move as well. Down the inside, he's going to go into turn 1 there. Can he get that stop to the inside line? Jaco out wide in turn 1, inside of turn 2. They are still wheel to wheel on the exit. They are parallel. Who's going to get DRS? Matthias opens the rear leg, and Power's clear. Will jump in front of XL Jaco. Jaco trying to line up that inside line, backs out of it, and then Maverick looking down the inside of Alex, doesn't quite follow it through as Larkin now up the road. It's side by side with Nolan coming in at turn 6. Now towards the S section, he's going to have to sweep around the outside. Like Nolan tried on Chill. Not going to work out though. He tries to look for a switchback, tries to look for the drive, but the Dabs car covers all angles and will keep a hold of that 7th place. So Larkin, great start. Now seems to have hit a bit of a wall then, but as it stands without a penalty, if Toxic isn't careful, he picks up more of those. Even with his great strategic position, he may well find himself losing out to Larkin in this race. Larkin's incredible start has really put him into play there as he almost loses it there in the final sector.
And it does look like the soft compound tyres onto board. Larkin looks so much stronger at this point. The drivers on the super soft tyres, especially coming out of that second sector, are all over the road. Larkin was the only one that kept the car on the road coming out of turn 11. So it looks like he's got a lot of grip. Has he got the run this time round on Nolan? Nolan will have DRS, but he's not really close enough to Chill to challenge him. So will Larkin have the run on the Dams driver coming down towards turn 1? Nolan moves to the middle of the track. Larkin goes to the outside line, which will turn into the inside for turn 2 if he's late enough on the brakes. He's trying to squeeze Nolan to the apex of turn 1, but Nolan fends that move off nicely. Larkin can't get the move done. Further down, Matthias is another one that's picked up a time penalty, but from 20th on the grid in 4 laps, he's already 10th. What a start for Matthias.
Oh no!
Oh, as he spun the car just as I say that. Wow, just what a commentator's curse that was. Just as I say, Matthias is having a good race. He spins the car in exactly the same spot as Lando, and he'll drop down to the back of the field. Meanwhile, Zaldama recovering after an early spin. I think on lap 2 he might have been involved in the spin that Ibo and Freak Ronk had at turn 3. He's trying to work his way back through the field. Currently runs 13th, fending off Lando, who's trying to come back through after his spin as well. Lando's down the inside coming out of turn 6, but doesn't get the run on Zaldama. Has to stay 14th for the time being. Meanwhile, back at the front of the field, Toxic is starting to close in on Campbell. Those soft tyres working on that Prema. He's within DRS range. Larkin then down to the inside of Nolan, not quite going to get there in time at the end of that DRS straight. Will he go for the same move Verstappen tried earlier on? He isn't close enough at the hairpin, but look at the grip that Larkin has. He's basically pushing Nolan through the hairpin. He's so much faster at this point in the race. He just needs to get that break and get in front, and he could clear off into the distance. And both of these guys are starting to catch Miami, who's really struggling, and Verstappen's into the pit lane. He's the first of the leaders in. How strong is that undercut going to be? Can he get close enough to Toxic and Campbell as they now start to fight for the race lead?
It looks like the super soft tires are going off rapidly. That could be a valuable strategy call. Let's see how it all works out. So, up to the front. Toxic now really coming into his own. He's got Campbell right in his sights for the race lead. Is he going to get the move done here? Campbell looks to be just far enough ahead, and Toxic hangs back with the brakes. He does not want to take too many unnecessary risks. Larkin, on the other hand, was able to get through on Nolan finally. Nolan looks on the brakes. He's going to go for a late move down the inside. Gets pinched into the apex by Larkin, who wasn't having any of that. Nolan, I think, just misjudged his braking point. Just about avoided catastrophe there, and managed to just get out of an incident with the championship contender. Larkin, though, finally gets through on Nolan, but let's turn our attentions to Verstappen, still penalty free, now running near the back of the field. How much progress can he make? Expect potentially Campbell to come into the pit lane at the end of this lap, along with quite a few of the other super soft runners. He does not want to get involved in another battle as Larkin down to the outside of QBR. Chill heading into the stadium section then, but it's covered off by the Pereira driver heading into turn 12, and now on the inside again in 13 there, Chill parking that car in the way Miami, and he's just trying to get to the pit lane as now Campbell does pit lane bound penalty for Stab, and that can really work against him. Larkin lining up Chill now, Miami's right side as well. So here we go now, DRS is going to be open, and Chill's going to have to try and do his teammate a favour and fend off the championship contender, but can he fend him off? Larkin's already gone to that inside line, but he has to slip you with Miami ahead. So here we go now, all three of them coming into the same pocket and running the track, and Larkin's going to go for it down the inside. He got pinched in by Chill, but he's made it work, and now he's looking right outside. No, that one's cut off by Miami. Chill trying to look for a better exit, but Larkin simply has more grip at this stage in the race, and so he will get into that third place. He will not challenge Miami heading into the late chicane of turn 4. He hangs back for now, and no one down the inside late, though that's a bit of lag there, I think. He's got penalties well as though, and the penalties really racking up further up the field. Campbell stayed in front of Verstappen, but that gap was about 4 seconds. Now it's less than 2. So that undercut is so valuable, and the likes of Miami, Chill and Nolan could really lose out here from staying out this long.
Yeah, they really are going to lose out. Spags into the pit lane as well in the Dams car. He comes out a few seconds behind Verstappen. He's running comfortably in a net P5 at the moment, but Larkin, you would say, might put that under pressure as the race goes on. He's going for the outside line now on Miami. Looks like he's going to get this move done. Miami just doesn't have the grip to fight it. These super softs have really fallen off a cliff. They've got no pace left in these tyres whatsoever. Toxic now leads the race. Larkin now runs second from 14th or 15th on the grid. He runs second in this race. That's a brilliant start from Larkin. And look at Miami in the background, nearly into the wall on the outside of the corner, just struggling so much to grip, and him, Chill and Nolan all into the pit lane at the same time. That puts J. Cole now into third place and California 5 into 4th. This alternate strategy does seem to be quite powerful here. We haven't seen that a lot this season. The alternate strategy's never really been that strong, but it seems to be the way today. Maybe Toxic made an inspired decision by going for those soft compound tyres. Where does the likes of Chill, Miami and Nolan come out relative to the people around them, though? Where are they going to come out relative to the likes of Spag? Verstappen sets the fastest lap of the race at 27.4. He's flying along in that second try. At Miami is going to be country miles back from these guys. Spag's past them as well, and he's going to be clear. He's absolutely flying, and here comes Zach Matthias. Matthias still out with front wing damage. As might come out ahead of his teammate. Is he going to back off? He's going to let his teammate go. He still has damage, but that is a massive gap now. 4 seconds between Spag and Miami. It was about 2 when they came into the pit lane, so they've lost out massively. And Lando has already caught Chill. He's already caught Chill. That's incredible. They had a spin and made a pit stop, and he's already onto the back of Chill.
Lando's pace is remarkable. He already has 8 seconds of penalties, so that's going to hold him back regardless, as now Nolan down the inside of Matthias, late on the brakes, gets that one done. Now runs 12, trying to sit with Miami, who got a bit of an advantage going through that pit stop phase. We're waiting now for the race leaders to come into the pit lane. They expect they're going to stay out for some time yet, though, because it seems as though those super soft tyres are not going to last more than about 5 or 6 laps before they start really going off. So expect them to stay out a little bit longer. And Toxie and Larkin still out there in the net 1-2 positions for the time being. We'll see where they emerge out after the pit stop phase. Further down the field, Tim's lighting up Idel Philippe, draws alongside, heading down the straight. Now a DRS should be able to overpower him. Fastest lap for Campbell. That's better by Verstappen. Both those Trident cars are flying, and you suspect if Verstappen can stay in that, he may be able to jump ahead of Toxic in the pit lane, and the question will be then, will the Toxic on fresh super soft tyres can overhaul the Trident cars? We'll see how that battle for the racing is going to shape up. But at the moment, it looks like it may well be a Trident 1-2 after the pit stop phase, and then we're going to see how the likes of Toxic can hunt it down. Matthias now out the race, so that's in the pit lane.
That's in the pit lane, yeah, retiring with that front wing damage. He's decided not to continue. That is such a shame. He has such good pace. Dropped it all on his own, though, and that's him out of contention. What a shame. Hopefully, he sticks around for the sprint race and he can work his way forwards in that race as well. But like you say, Trident absolutely flying. They're in a stellar position in this race. 1-2 could be on the cards, and this could massively help them in the manufacturer's race, because at the moment, Toxic still leads this race, yet to make a pit stop. Chill lost out in the pit stop phase to Nolan, and has now been overtaken by Lando and is under threat from Maverick all of a sudden. I don't know where Maverick's come from in this race. It's kind of flown under the radar a little bit, but he's caught this queue of cars. That's how much these guys struggled when they stayed out for an extra lap on their super soft. They've been caught by so many people behind, and Zaldamer's not out of the question either, because he runs only 4 seconds back and doesn't have a penalty. Chill's just picked up his second penalty, so it's not going well for Prema at the moment, despite Toxic being in the lead of this race. Chill really struggling once again. He just seems to be a little bit off the pace today, and Lando now in front of him. Can he work his way to Nolan? And you've got to say Nolan as well. This has been another great race for him. He's steadily been improving as the season goes on, and he now runs 12th on the road, which is about a net P7 when all the pit stops phase out by the end of this one. So that could be a reverse grid pole position battle for Nolan at the end of this race. Toxic still leads and on to lap 10, and on the last lap Toxic was at least a second a lap faster than Larkin. So being out in the front of the field, Toxic still has incredible pace, but I still don't think it's going to be enough to beat the Trident pair.
As now for the down the field, Chill's looking back right outside of Lando. They're going to go to battle again. Lando a little bit later on the brakes, trying to hold that into the line, but Chill might just have this move done. Hitting into turn 2, brilliant from Chill, and he regains the place. And Lando does not have DRS, the counter attack, and he has to set it behind. So Chill gets that one done nicely. Back up into 13th on the road. Now Campbell has caught the back of the soft one. His first up is Philippe. He's going to go right outside of turn 7. Wow, Campbell is on a roll at the moment. There he is, absolutely flying, and now jumps ahead of Philippe. That was risky, that was bold, but it worked out in the end, and now Campbell moves up into 7th place. Will surely have the lead once the pit stops are over and done with. You did mention earlier before we started covering that battle between Chill and Lando that Toxic was pulling away from Larkin. Larkin isn't any faster than Jago behind him. He's really just not able to find the pace out of that gap now to Toxic that was maybe about 5 seconds earlier on in the race, now runs close to 12 seconds. So at the moment Toxic completely outclassing him, and Larkin, even though he's got no penalties, he's got that advantage on him. He's really struggling and just simply cannot match the searing pace of Toxic at the front.
As Campbell down the inside of Tim, now down towards turn 1, really late on the brakes. Tim gives him the space. Tim has a lot of front wing damage, and Campbell is up another place. Meanwhile, Verstappen works his way past Philippe. Where was this Trident team at the start of the season? They are in a class of their own at the moment. They're flying along. They are now 6.5 seconds clear of Spag, who runs 3rd of all the people that have pitted in this race. Miami still runs 4th of those, and he's being caught quickly by Nolan as Lando and Chill still going at it. Lando now regains the pace on Chill down towards turn 1, but now Chill's going to have a good run coming out of turn 3 down towards turn 4. Lando though has the DRS this time around to hold the place and will move in front of Chill in the braking zone. So Lando's back up into 13th, but all the time they battle, they are losing out to Nolan in front, and they are all being caught by Zalama, who remember still doesn't have a penalty in this race, so he could still be a factor in this race. Despite spinning on lap 2, he's still a factor in this race. Ever the most consistent man in the field, it feels like. He's absolutely flying, and now Verstappen is past Tim as well. That damage really affecting Tim. His tyres are probably burnt out by this point in the race. Verstappen's up another place. It's still only 2 seconds between the 2 Trident cars. They are flying, and like I said, where on earth was this team at the start of the season? This is by far the best performance we've seen from Trident so far.
Yeah, they're keeping a nice formation. They're about 2 seconds apart. Penalty Spag. Keep an eye out because Miami may well be within range if Spag's not careful. We have a pit stop there. Philippe has dived into the pit lane. He's followed by Spag. Spag has come in. That's very surprising. Philippe retires from the race. I'm not exactly sure why, but Spag has come in, and I'm very confused as to why he has there.
Has he picked up damage, Wonder? Yes, he has. On the left-hand side of his front wing, he's hit the wall somewhere, possibly in the stadium section. That's where he's picked up the penalty and broken his front wing. What a shame. He looked like he might have been on for a P4 finish in this race. Would have been one of his best results of the season, and he's now well out of contention. He'll drop behind Jordan at this point in the race, well out of it. Unfortunately, such a shame for Spag, but that promotes Miami up a place now. He now runs in a net P4, but he's been closed in on Nolan. But once again, Miami not picking up penalties in this race. He's doing a very good job of doing that. He's done that pretty much all season long. He's very good at keeping the car on the road and gaining places on penalties on people around him. Campbell now with a time penalty, so that puts Toxic, Verstappen and Campbell all on a level playing field. So when Toxic comes in, he now doesn't have that disadvantage against Campbell in this race. It's game on.
And now Campbell's going to try and make amends for that. He's into the Alex very late on the brakes and runs into the side of him slightly. Larkin has come into the pit lane up ahead as well. He's one of the first soft runners to dive in there. That's the end of lap 12. So Larkin now in. Campbell did get that move done. It was a little bit of argy-bargy going on, but he did manage to make that move stick. Now Verstappen is going to try and go with him, follow him through, and he's now got a fighting chance in this race as well up at the front of the field. So let's keep an eye out on where Verstappen's going to emerge. Now Larkin is nearing the end of the pit lane. 60 kilometers an hour, can now get back on it. He's going to be some way off the back of it. He's going to be behind that raging battle we've seen between Lando and Chill. Maverick's not far behind as well. Maverick trying to get up to Larkin, heading into turn one, but I think the Arden driver's just going to hold on to it, and now he can charge away. Fresh Supersofts under it. Has got to try and make all the ground that he can to keep his championship hopes alive at this stage of the season. Expect then maybe your top three to be in at the end of this lap. Toxic is lining up now. He has a massive 15.5 second lead. That's going to be wiped out. He'll probably be behind the Tridents, but don't forget the Tridents have had to work their way through traffic, and that's keeping Toxic. We'll see what he can do with those super soft tires. We know they go off quickly, but the first few laps will be flagged. Toxic going to enter the pits. Where will he emerge, and how successful is his hunt going to be? The leading Trident runners on the front do not go anywhere. This battle for the lead is about to get exhilarating.
And Verstappen now past Alex as well. We lost a bit of time though in that lap. He was stuck behind Alex in the middle part of that lap through the whole S section. Had to wait until the third DRS zone to get the move done. It's cost him about a second to his teammate at this point in the race. Campbell then runs forth into the pit lane. Comes J. Cole and California as well. They're both in. Where is Toxic going to be coming out? He's actually going to be a lot closer to the Tridents than I first thought. There goes Campbell. He's ahead of Verstappen at the moment. Verstappen might pass him on the track though. There goes Verstappen down the left hand side of the track. He's ahead of Toxic, but Toxic comes out directly behind Verstappen. So while the Tridents were setting fastest laps and going at it, going through the traffic, they didn't really gain a lot of time at all on Toxic, so it's not out of the question that Toxic could still win this.
The traffic massively held them back, I think, and now they're going to have to do it all again. So here we go now. Toxic will have an advantage, but we know how quickly those super softs go off. So Campbell and the likes may not be out of this one just yet. Verstappen's going to have to try and hold it back for as long as he can. Further down the field, Nolan is lining up Miami, heading into turn 4, but he'll just hang back with that one. Larkin as well is now beginning to make progress. He now runs right on the back of QBR. Chills enter turn 5. Not going to go for anything just as of yet. Look at Toxic though. Look at the extra grip he has. Verstappen surely has nothing to hold him back. They come out of turn 11, and can Toxic try and claim that second place? DRS in the short burst into the third sector there. Verstappen covering the inside line, right in, safe for a long way back. Toxic surely not. Gets squeezed up the track by Verstappen, but he has the inside line. Try to get that stop on the inside, and Toxic with better momentum right inside of 13. He's done it. Wow, Toxic. It was his third defense for Verstappen, but he couldn't hold it back. Toxic, regardless of the defense pin up, has still reclaimed that second place, and now he can try and charge up to Campbell in a race lead. Further down the field, I saw that Larkin got a penalty. That's going to really hold him back in his charge, but he's right on the back of Chell now, and set the fastest lap of the race. He's flying. So now Chell's going to have to be on the defensive here yet again in this race. To the inside goes Larkin, and Chell is squeezing him right to the edge of the track on the inside. But Larkin can drive braving on the brakes, try and get it stopped in time. Chell doing everything he has, holding right inside of turn 1, inside of turn 2, gets squeezed onto the curb though, but he gets a better exit, and so the battle continues. Now, Chill back to the outside. The inside is going to be defended by Larkin as he head into the second sector. Can Chill outbreak him on worse tyres? The grip surely will come through, and this time I think Larkin will see it up, but no, he runs wide into turn 5, and Chill's threatening into turn 6, but it looks like at last Larkin will get that move done, but with a penalty that's going to cost him there that chance of really jumping up to the front of the train. He's going to have to do this the hard way then. Larkin still has a chance at 4th place with an extra penalty to his name. That task just got an awful lot tougher.
That was still a brilliant move though from Larkin to get that move done around the outside of turn 2. Next target for him is Lando, who's all over the back of Nolan, who's all over the back of Miami. Such a queue forming for 4th place on the road. They are 10 seconds off this lead battle. They are the top 3 are in a class of their own at this point, and top 6 sets the fastest lap of the race. J. Cole now with another time penalty runs 9th at this point in the race. That could cost him an opportunity of getting that reverse grid pole. His teammates directly behind him on the track, and then Zaldimar's a further 3 seconds back. Look out for California at the latter stages as well, running 12th with no penalties. He's on the super soft tyres as well, so he'll be fast as this race goes on. Battle continuing on though for 5th on the road. Lando now trying to get the move done on Nolan. He dispatched of Chill earlier on. He's worked his way forward down the inside line at turn 1, but Nolan uses the DRS from Miami to defend the line into turn 1. Nolan holds on to P5 for the time being, but Lando looks like the faster of the 2 drivers. He's on the oldest set of tyres though out of everyone here, and Larkin's directly behind him on the road as well, on the freshest super soft tyres out there as well. So look out for Larkin as they run down towards turn 4. He's not close enough. Oh, down the inside of Miami late again in the same spot. Nolan picked up his first penalty. He picks up his second one. Lando was down the inside of turn 5. There wasn't enough room though. Nolan with a last-ditch attempt at a dive into turn 4 and it didn't work. Larkin coming round the outside now towards turn 7. Can he get the move done all the way around the outside of the corner? No, he can't. He doesn't have the grip. But he runs. He runs into Lando. I don't know if Lando spun on his own or got run into the back of by Larkin, but Lando's around again for the second time. It's a carbon copy of what happened in the US. Exactly the same thing as spun twice out of contention. That put Zaldimer into the top 10. J. Cole 8th and Maverick 9th.
Toxic for the lead.
Oh, and Nolan nearly round as well in the stadium section. Toxic surely's got the lead. He's so close. It's nearly passed already before he opened over the DRS. He was side by side. Campbell will have nothing to defend against Toxic, who once again breezes into the lead of the race. Another feature race that has swung in Toxic's favour. We were so sure Campbell had this one in the bag, but Toxic's speed in that first stint has saved his race, and he's back into the race here. Can he hold it to the end? You would imagine so. Campbell might have to settle for second here. Verstappen has been dropped by these two. He's now nearly 4 seconds back. Meanwhile, that battle for P4 still going on, and now it's looking like Larkin might be the one to come out on top.
Yeah, the tyre advantage really coming into play. Larkin's got a great drive coming up at turn 3. Surely Nolan can't hold him back this time. Larkin cruises past on the run to the second sector and will get the move done. Up in the 5th place now. Miami doesn't have a penalty though, so that's what Larkin's going to have to worry about now if he wants that 4th place. But he has another great drive. Hitting at turn 6, he looks left and right, can't find the gap, and Nolan takes his chance, but he cannot follow through with it. The space that had opened for him, and Larkin will hold on. Nolan unable to get through that time, and as Chell now letting over. Hey, J. Cole's not far off this battle as well, could really start to benefit if those super soft tyres hold up. So now for 4th place, Miami under heavy pressure from Larkin now as they come out of the S's. DRS is going to be open, and now Larkin lining him up, but he closed that DRS. He's just going to hang back for the time being. Chill as well on Nolan. They're getting so bunched up down there. We have 3 laps now to go here in this Mexican feature race. So now out of the final corners on the lap then, surely Miami's going to have to be looking over his shoulder this time. He gets a little bit of traction issues. They're really fighting in the car, fighting the rear tyres, trying to deliver the grip. But now he's going to be under pressure because Larkin now has the DRS, has the slipstream. He's over 300 kilometers, and now we're now lining it up to the inside. Chell and Nolan as well. They're battling it behind there, but Larkin will get the move done on Miami. Chell will try and get the move done on Nolan, but Nolan runs a bit wide, trying to break as late as he can. Has the inside for 2, outside for 3, but Chell does not give it up. They're level as they apply the throttle, as they open the DRS. They are still absolutely dead even as they head into turn 4 than the inside line this time. We would only squeeze Chell right to the edge of the track, runs wide. Chell with a switchback to the edge of the turn 5, trying to set up the inside of turn 6. He's still side by side. Now is the inside line. Can he force Nolan out here? Nolan pinches him again and will just about hang on to it. Nolan, what an aggressive defence he's putting up, and he's just been able to maintain it. Chell had to get out of that one. Superb battling down there, but Nolan will hold up to 6th. We'll try to hold it to the checkered flag. Another battle shaping up now is whether, as Cho gets another penalty, is whether if Larkin can pull out that critical 3-second gap he needs to Miami behind. The gap sits at 9/10 of a second. With 2 laps to go, Larkin's going to have to try and get a move on. Miami still has a great chance of wrapping up this 4th place.
Yeah, he does look like he's in the pound seat at the moment. Nolan has 2 penalties. I think Chill might be on his 4th penalty in this race. He's going to drop like a stone. This is 5th. Wow, he's going to drop massively in this race. And look at where J. Cole's come from. Nowhere. He's now 8th right on the back of this queue as well. He's got a couple penalties, but he should be safe in 8th for the time being, and he will jump ahead of Chill as the penalties apply themselves. Chill now has another run on Nolan, and this time around Nolan doesn't have DRS to defend against him. Nolan moves to the inside line. Chill has the outside. Is Nolan going to be incredibly late on the brakes once again into turn 1? He is. He's down the inside. More wheel banging, but this time round Chill has the inside line for turn 2. Nolan has the inside for turn 3. Look at J. Cole trying to make it 2 for 1 coming out of the corner. He's got a great run. He's already ahead of Chill. He's side by side with Nolan. This could be a great move of the race. This could be if J. Cole pulls this off around the outside.
Contact!
Oh, he moves across on Nolan, and Chill was still there as well, and Chill comes back across the track with damage. Nolan's going to hold the place. He's going to squeeze J. Cole onto the curb, but J. Cole moved across on Nolan in the braking zone, and Chill was still there. It was kind of a ricochet effect. Chill's the one that's come out badly in that with front wing damage, drops to 8th, and with the penalties as well. He'll drop outside the top 10. Nolan holds on to 6th. J. Cole runs 7th, but that was a little bit messy.
Yeah, just 3 drivers going into one then. Chell thought he still had the run at that inside line, but with both Jekyll and Nolan moving over, there was only one way that one was going to end there. Yeah, bitterly disappointing for Chell. It's been a nightmare race for him in the end. But now we're going to turn our attentions back, as Jekyll surely has Nolan this time. Nolan on this occasion has nothing to defend with, and that dabs in the Corwin now, lining him up now as they head onto the final lap of this race. Jekyll a little bit of traction issues there. He's trying to put that power down to get a run at Nolan, and he's given Nolan a chance of maybe holding on to this 6th place, but the DRS will now be open. They both have 6 seconds of penalties. It's an even playing field here. But now, Excel, Jekyll to the inside, plays the dummy beautifully. Now has the line. Nolan again, trying to do it all on the brakes, and he's done well because he's claimed that inside line for turn 2. Outside of turn 3, no, surely Jekyll has this time. Nolan has put up such a defence at that 2nd place, but surely has to let it go now. Jekyll runs set. Is Nolan going to dive it down the inside again? No, he hangs back, thinks better that one, and I think Jekyll will at last secure P6 on the road. It's been an exhausting race, and now Maverick moving through on the Chell now. Round the inside of turn 5. Chell desperately trying to hold on to it. Claims the inside line. Maverick, though, round the outside has much more downforce in that car. Gets squeezed off the track by QBR Chell, but has an inside line. For turn 7, no. Chell does not give it up. And through turn 8 and now 9. Surely Maverick will get it done this time. Chell understeering out wide. Now Zerma going round the outside. We missed it. Toxic over the line. He'll come through to win this one. Campbell 2nd, Verstappen 3rd, as the L finally form into the line. Verstappen will cross in 3rd place. Larkin hasn't done enough here. 2.2 seconds to the good, yes, but that will not be enough. Larkin crosses 4th, but Miami, without a penalty, will reclaim that great race in Miami. Jekyll beats Nolan to the line. Maverick and Zaunima, I think Zaunima will jump all of these guys here and move up into 8th position there. Maverick loses out. He and Chell will come through in 10th. Lando somehow jumps them all in the end. California will cross no penalties. He might get Maverick, and Chile gets Lando as well.
Wow. So
California ends up 9th, Lando 10th. My oh my, this championship just never fails to surprise me.
It never does. That was another incredible feature race, and yet again we thought for so long that Campbell had this one in the bag, but Toxic on that alternate strategy paid it absolutely beautifully. Comes home to taste the race victory by 4 seconds, which is one of the smaller race winning margins for him this season. Campbell and Verstappen 2nd and 3rd, though. This is going to massively help Trident in that manufacturer's race, with Chill down in 13th after yet another disappointing race for Chill this season. My Zaunima came from a 2nd lap spin to end up on the reverse grid pole position. That man, nothing ever seems to hold that man down. He'll continue to hold 5th in the championship as well. And Miami, like you said, what a great race on Miami to keep it penalty free, secures in 4th place. And that means at the moment, if Larkin doesn't outscore Toxic in the next round in the sprint race, then Toxic will take the championship at the end of this one. Larkin has to beat Toxic in the next race by quite a few positions to be able to hold on to that. Unfortunately, obviously Toxic didn't pick up the points for that pole position, so it is still that 7-point gap that he has to worry about. But Toxic at the moment has put himself right in the pound seat to take the championship here tonight. But let's run you through the full order then of the feature race. What a race that was. Toxic wins the race and gets fastest lap by a country margin. The only person in the 25s the entire race. Campbell 2nd ahead of Verstappen 3rd. Miami 4th. Larkin to 5th from 17th on the grid. What a comeback from him. What a shame he invalidated his lap in qualifying. J. Cole 6th from 16th on the grid. That alternate strategy very, very strong today. Nolan 7th. Great defence, but just couldn't hold on against J. Cole on the fresher tyres at the end. Zaunima 8th from 18th on the grid. California 9th, jumps up because of penalties. Lando 10th, what another disastrous race for Lando. Maverick runs 11th and they're ahead of Alex in 12th. Chill dropped to 13th. Spag on 2 pit stops ended up 14th. Tim 15th. Jordan, Ibo, Freak Gronk and Philippe and Matthias are the people that took part in this race. Philippe and Matthias, the only 2 people to retire from that one. Another crazy race, but Toxic has put himself right in the pound seat to take his 2nd championship in a row.
I'd like to say at this point that Toxic has 9 fingers on that championship trophy. He almost has it now. He just has to grab it for good, and we'll see how that all ends up. But yeah, I think that Toxic may well have this one. Although it's not a done deal as of yet. I just worked out, by the way, that Larkin actually only needs to outscore him by 3 points, because because countback will favour Toxic. So he needs to outscore by 3 points to stay in the championship fight, which means that, I say, if Larkin wins that sprint race, he is still in it. Any other position he finishes in, the permutations are a bit more complicated.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to wait and see how this one plays out then. Larkin, I think if he finishes second or third or something, we're going to have to say that Toxic's going to have to finish fourth or fifth in this race for the championship to continue on. But we've seen so many times this season that Toxic is able to work his way right to the front of the field for the sprint race as well. It all depends really on that start once again. Who's going to get the best start and the best run down towards turn one. Somehow, like I said a couple of times already, somehow Zaldimer has ended up a reverse grid pole position for this race. I do not know how. Nolan's on the front row alongside him, and Nolan, a stellar performance in the feature race. I think possibly one of his best races of the season so far. 7th, probably not the best result he probably would have won. He probably could have hoped for. He probably could have hoped for maybe a couple places higher in that race based on the pace he showed. But we saw in that feature race, he's incredibly good at defending around this track. A very aggressive defender, but very fair, I would say, as well, and a very good defender. So that could hold him well for this sprint race.
Yeah, we'll see, of course. He's very good on the brakes, I've noticed. He always seems to brake later than whoever he's battling with. So he'll definitely... I could favour it, particularly at the start here. We know how bunched up it can be, and we saw last time out, it's... really who wins it. It's not a matter of really pole possession, it's a matter of just positioning on the entry at turn 1, and then you're braking going through the corner. We saw how well Campbell was able to put those things together, and that's how he got into the race lead. Of course he was outpaced over the race distance by Toxic, but it did give him a fighting chance of the race win. The start is so important here, as we've stressed already. So let's get into this one. This could well be the final championship race in terms of the Drivers' Championship, where it is still at stake. So let's make this a good one, folks. Let's get this one started. Remember, Larkin has to outscore Toxic by 3 points to stay in the championship fight. Let's see how it all unfolds. Dynamo will lead it away. Nolan in second, and as per usual, J. Cole and Larkin may well get a good run with Slipstream there, and Dino's full possession could be very vulnerable here.
It really, really could. It's all going to be about that braking time for turn 1. Can Nolan do what he did so many times in the feature race? Outbrake someone around the outside and have the inside line for turn 2. Will J. Cole and Larkin benefit from the slipstream down towards turn 1? It played beautifully for Campbell, who was third on the grid. Maybe J. Cole can do the same thing in that Carlin. I'm going to hand over to you though, Daka, for the start of the sprint race. This is going to be another great race.
I think we've come to expect that from this Formula 2 division. Let's get this one started. This could well be the final race of the championship battle. Let's see what happens then. And I wish the best of luck to both of our championship contenders, to wish them good fortune ahead of this race. Let's get this one going then. The grid is settled. Zerma and Nolan round up the front row for the sprint race then, as the drivers all anticipate the lights beginning to come on then in front of the sprint race. Here we go then, we have 5 lights. And we are away for the sprint race here at Mexico. Who's got the best start for the front row? Zerma going away pretty well. I think he's going to lead that one in front there. And he's tucked in front of Nolan, who now gets into the slipstream in behind. So now, Nolan tucked in underneath. Jacob got away well, holds that third place. Larkin away poorly, he's boxed in now. Nolan round the outside, trying to claim that lead around the outside, just in the nature that you anticipated. He has the lead in a turn 2, but Zerma fights back, has the inside for 3, parks it on the apex, but Nolan with more momentum, may just get through. Jacob's tucked in underneath as well. So he going down there, laid up then. Nolan has an inside line in a turn 4 then. Zerma trying to do it on the brakes, has the inside line for 5, but he's going to get pinched in there by Nolan, who squeezes it onto the curb, and Zerma squeezes Jacob in retaliation, and Miami goes through all of them. He's in a second place, and Larkin trying to follow him through, recovering from a less than stellar start off the line. Looking at Miami as well, right outside it could be. No, he just hands back from that one. Zerma loses out, he's there in the 4th place. Nolan claims the race lead just about after a chaotic run of fortune up in the front, round the back of the field. Emmo's going round, drops 10 seconds behind the rear of the pack, and look at how close it is though up in the front. Campbell lining up Zerma, holds back from that one. Jacob, after losing out with Zerma, now Campbell diving down the inside, desperate late move from Campbell, now draws level. Zerma comes back on the inside into the penultimate corner. They are still wheel to wheel. Campbell drops back, gets squeezed out, and now Jacob for Stab Toxin are all looking at that then. From 5th to 8th, he can throw a blanket over them, over the line again. They are running 2 by 2, as now Campbell and Zerma battling away down the straight, then a Jago tugged it underneath. This is absolute mayhem here. Jago trying to squeeze it through there. They are 4 wide on the entry, hitting into turn 1 there. I'm seeing Campbell on the outside then. Verstappen's done all of them here. Now as the outside for 2, inside for 3 is going to get pitched in there by Campbell. Trident has come out superbly from this, and now they are battling it again, going down towards turn 2. This time, the inside line is going to be with QBR Campbell. The place will be with Campbell. Jago trying to fight back. Verstappen draws alongside but can't get through. Toxic picks his sport on the inside. Tries to drive through. Heading for that position in front of the car against Rona. Rona Toxic up in the second place there. What a manic start. Zerma's lost all these places. A disastrous start for XL Zerma. Now runs down in 10th place. Incredible opening to our race there. Larkin so jump Miami, no one holds the lead. Larkin maybe will get run at them. What on earth has happened on this race start?
Absolutely crazy. I'm so shocked to see Zalma lose so many places, down to 10th from pole position in a lap and a half. He's struggled so much in this opening phase of the race. Chillen Lando managed to get ahead of him as well, and they started outside the top 10. So my word, it's been such a difficult start for Zalma in this race. Hopefully he can recover as the race goes on. Nolan continues to lead this race, but Larkin now runs second. Miami runs third. They are 2 seconds clear of this battle for 4th now, so they can maybe start to work their way forwards. Verstappen on the back of his teammate. No DRS as of yet. DRS will be enabled for the back straight down towards the stadium section. That will be the first DRS zone that they can use. Verstappen had a look to the inside line of his teammate, wasn't close enough. Toxic directly behind them on the Royal Road. J. Cole a little bit wide coming out of turn 1. Lando might have a run it in, but Lando's picked up front wing damage somewhere, maybe off the back of J. Cole at some point, so he's going to struggle as this race goes on. He will look to the outside line for turn 4. Will he be close enough? He's going to go for the inside line this time round. Down the inside to turn 4, incredibly late on the brakes for J. Cole. Round the outside will have the better line for 5. Should be able to hold it. Forces Lando off the road. Lando can't do anything about it. Comes back on the road and Chill sends it down the inside. Can he get that one stopped? He can. They're still side by side coming down towards turn 7. Can Chill drive clean around the outside of him coming into the corner? No, he cannot. Lando holds on to 8th place for the time being. Meanwhile, I think one of the LON drivers has spun at the back of the field, and now Lando with a time penalty as well. 4 drivers already with penalties in this race. People really struggling to keep the car on the road. Meanwhile, Larkin is doing all he needs to do to keep his championship hopes alive. He's all over the back of Nolan with a great opportunity at a race victory.
So here we go now, Larkin now hunting down Nolan up in the race. They have a decent advantage. We'll see the likes of the Tridents and Toxic can try and rule them out over the course of the race. We know how dominant they were in the feature race, but now they're going to have to try and fight from behind here. So now, Larkin, DRS open, slipstream in hand, but can he get up to the back of the Dams car? He's closing rapidly, great overspeed from Larkin, gets to the inside line, but hangs back for the moment then. Allows Nolan to maintain things up in the front of the moment. Toxic then hits it, caught that way for Verstappen, he ran wide. Toxic overcooked it. Verstappen straight through the grass. Loses out, gets a penalty. Toxic tried to go for the move, but I think he overdid that one. Lando got through on Jaco. Larkin hangs back from Nolan. Have we seen a rare mistake here from Toxic? He drops back. Verstappen holds the place, but that's disaster for the pair with Verstappen the penalty. Toxic with wing damage, I believe. I'm trying to look for that. Was that Verstappen that picked it up? I think it might have been Verstappen that almost has a teacher on that car. He's got definite damage there, but I don't think he was at fault. I think Toxic may well have just overdid it, but now they're both going to have to come through behind there. Disaster for Verstappen and Toxic.
That is such a shame, especially for Verstappen. He had to pick up that time penalty because he was forced so far off the road. He couldn't feasibly get back on the road before turn 2. That's why he picked up the penalty. And now Toxic as well. He's lost out more time to Campbell as Campbell continues to close in on Miami for 3rd place on the road. Toxic then a rare mistake trying to make that move stick, and now they're going to be under pressure from Lando, Chill and Jacob behind. They are still close to as well to battling, and Verstappen with that front wing damage surely is going to lose out down the straight this time around, and Toxic with a time penalty on the way into turn 16, so that's going to affect him in this race as well. Back to the race leader though. Larkin's a little bit closer this time round to Nolan coming down the straight. Does Nolan decide to defend the inside line? Does Larkin go for it down the inside of the outside? He goes to the inside line, down the inside of Nolan, but can Nolan hold it all the way around the outside of turn 1? I don't think he can. He decides not to fight it too hard. Larkin's into the lead of the race. Nolan picks up a time penalty in the process as well. Toxic gets past Verstappen and up into 5th place, but it's still not enough at the moment to take the championship. Larkin's doing all he needs to do to take the championship to the next round of the season in Brazil. It looks like it's working out so far for him, and Nolan doesn't quite have the pace maybe to stick with Larkin for the rest of this one. It's all dependent now on whether Toxic can work his way up into 2nd place.
Yeah, Toxic has got a huge mountain to climb, and he may well have Stewart's reports on his head as well after that contact down there with Verstappen. So now he's got so much work to do, and Larkin down in the race lead, doing everything he needs to do. He had a disaster at qualifying, but he was recovered well as Larkin, and now he may well be headed for a race victory if he keeps it clean to the checkered flag. Verstappen is going to be massively up against there. Lando chasing him down. Freak broke his retired. That's in the pit lane. He is waved goodbye to his chances in this race. Not a good night for Freak broke at all. So he has to suffer that one, as now we're looking up the field because this battle is brewing now between Verstappen and the queue of cars now forming behind him. Verstappen now with wing damage onto his car. Lando now lighting him up as Nolan spun out of the final corner towards the pit wall. Nolan must have gone wrong on traction, has to dive pit lane bound. Disaster for Nolan as now Lando draws alongside and almost past on Verstappen, squeezed right to the grass here, but he can still try get this one done as Campbell attacking Miami as well. Lando though has the line, they both have damage, but Lando's giving it everything he has to try and claim this fifth place. He may well just do it. Verstappen trying to get a run on exit as Campbell just about eases past Miami, now runs into second place, but look at this for fifth as Lando hasn't got it done just yet. Round the outside goes Verstappen, desperate to hold the position here, has the inside line. There are levels, they apply the pressure on the throttle. Now, inside with Verstappen, outside with Lando. Lando used the momentum on the outside line to power through it into fifth place. What a superb bit of battling between these two. But Lando in the end claims it. He now runs P5, Verstappen P6. Up in the front, Campbell trying to chase it down, but he's just got a penalty. And all of a sudden, his road to try and chase down Larkin looks near impossible at this stage. Larkin could just hold it clean. He looks set for this one unless he gets a penalty and unless Campbell can chase him down. 2.7 seconds the gap.
I was just about to say, Larkin's championship now fully depends on whether Campbell can close in and take the victory, but now that he's picked up that penalty, that's gifted Larkin an extra 3 seconds in this one. Toxic with a penalty as well is not going to be able to capitalise on that. Miami will capitalise on it once again if he's able to keep it clean. Can Miami stick close enough to Campbell to keep within that 3 second window and hold Toxic back? At the moment, Larkin is doing just enough to hold on to it. Meanwhile, further back down the field, that battle's still going on for 5th place. Here goes Verstappen back down the inside. Both of these drivers with damage somehow still holding on at the front of this queue. Verstappen down the inside for turn 1. Lando has the inside for turn 2. There's still run side by side coming out of turn 3. Can Chill get the run on the pair of them out of the corner? Lando's going to hold 5th place. Verstappen gets a poor run out of turn 3, but Chill isn't fast enough in a straight line to get the move done for 4. J. Cole's going to have a look as well.
For it.
He's going for it down the inside. That's a late move down the inside. He's on the curb. Verstappen's going to hold it. And now J. Cole looking down the inside as Verstappen picks up another time penalty in this race. And now Zalnama trying to work his way back through as well. He's the only one in this queue of cars that doesn't have a penalty, so he should capitalise on the lot of them when the race comes to an end. But my word, Verstappen and Lando 5th and 6th. What a battle. And somehow with damage, they are still holding on against the drivers behind them. Meanwhile, Toxic's now right on the back of Miami. Miami has lost DRS range to Campbell. He's all over the back of the ART driver, is the Prema driver, isn't able to get the move done into the stadium section, but you would imagine that Toxic should breeze past him down the pit straight.
Yeah, Toxic has this all lined up. He's trying to get with it. He may even have a shot at Campbell's here. I believe they are equal on penalties. Now, Toxic right there with Miami. Surely Miami can't hold it back now. The championship leader, the defending champion, the potential championship elect, still chasing it. Now to the inside and will cruise past Miami. Now into that 3rd place is Toxic. Lando, I think, is far enough ahead of this time that he won't have any trouble from QVR Verstappen behind. But Verstappen himself will have to look behind there because Chell is starting to line him up there, doesn't he? Oh, run like a stern in this battle. So, coming out of turn 3, Verstappen is not near enough still, and it looks like they're all going to stay in this line in the moment there. They're still running in this train, and up ahead then Toxic able to stay in front. On Miami as well. Campbell is chasing down on Larkin, but very, very slowly. Larkin's just holding it back. Campbell looks a little bit quicker at the moment. Remember, they still have a potential championship fight on their hands as well, with a run of form that Campbell has had in recent races. That one's not over yet. So this is still just as important as battle as any. And Campbell doing all he can to chase it down. But with 6 laps to go in this race, the question is, can he chase him down? And can he pull out that 3-second gap that he needs in the final few laps of the race?
That's going to be really, really crucial to this one. The gap's now down to 2 seconds between Larkin and Campbell. Campbell, you would imagine, should get within DRS range of Larkin by the end of this one. But like you say, can he get past and ahead far enough as Verstappen picks up yet another penalty? That front wing damage really costing him a lot of downforce. Meanwhile, the problem here for Larkin now is that he's going to get a little bit of dirty air from the car in front because he's now caught both Dams cars. Nolan's gone from second to last in this race. He's dropped right to the back. Spags moved out of the way, I think, coming down the straight. He has. He's pooed off to the right-hand side of the track, so he's letting everyone through. But Larkin is now catching that Dams car, so he might get a little bit of dirty air from him. Meanwhile, Verstappen's breezed past Lando down the pit straight, and now here comes Chill to the outside line. Can he brake late enough to make it stick? Lando nearly into the back of Verstappen, who has a massive lockup into turn 1, but is able to stop the car. Lando isn't able to get back up into 5th, and still Chill cannot find a way through these 2 drivers. He is stuck in 7th place, and now J. Cole's all over the back of him once again. Can he get down the inside line for turn 4? No, he can't. They stick in position for the time being. Verstappen holds 5th just about. Lando's trying to go all the way around the outside at turn 5, trying to make it the outside for turn 6, but he doesn't have the run on Verstappen this time round. He's into the back of Verstappen. Oh, down the inside. That's a bit of a Constantina effect. I don't know if anyone picked up damage in that. They all kind of had to back off because of it, as now Campbell picks up another penalty, and that will put Toxic at this point into 2nd place. Miami will jump the pair of them as it stands, but he's continuing to lose pace. If Campbell drops behind Toxic and Toxic takes 2nd, Toxic might take the championship.
Well, I don't know. I think that means if Toxic does end up 2nd in this race and Larkin wins it, if I'm not incorrect, correct me if I'm wrong on this, anyone in the chat that's been keeping track, I think that makes the gap between him and the championship 101 points, and there needs to be, for Toxic, 102 points. So it is on the knife edge here, but Larkin still has the upper hand, I believe, in this race at the moment. Now, 5 laps to the checkered flag, and it still hangs on the balance. Spags retired from the race in the pit lane. He's had enough today and will not score any points here in the sprint race, so they're all still forming into line. Verstappen and Lando doing a sterling job of defending from Chill, who still cannot get through. And now Lando lining up Verstappen yet again. A brilliant back and forth battle these guys have had. And they're going to go to war yet again. As now Lando, up behind him there, finds the gap on the inside. Verstappen's just left enough space. And now Lando going for 5th place. Verstappen reeks very, very late, locks it all up. Now has the inside line, heading through into turn 5, forces Lando off the road, will just get it done, I think. He has the inside line for 6, and squeezes out Lando on the exit. That is 5th place held for JVR Verstappen, who hangs on to that one. So now, looking up the field, Toxic has an opportunity of jumping up, and actually he's got to look over his shoulder. Miami's pace in his last few laps is keeping him in it. He runs in that 4th place, and he's 2.6 behind, so his pace is strong enough at the moment that Toxic may lose out to him at this point, unless Toxic can pull out that gap even further. So this whole battle hangs in the balance, and they're all slowly but surely really getting Larkin. This could be an absolute nail-biter. This race is really coming to end. 4 laps to go in this race. Larkin tried to hang on. Campbell hunting him down, and Toxic now coming into play. He has the RS now off Campbell.
Yeah, it's going to be so close in this. Miami's just dropped out of that 3-second window, so that is going to cost him to Toxic. He's still close enough to Campbell, but now Campbell's going to be under pressure into turn 1 from Toxic. Toxic's not close enough to make the move stick, but we've already seen in this race Toxic make a mistake on the brakes into turn 1. Meanwhile, Lando is back through on Verstappen once again, and he's back up into 5th place. How on earth are these two still running 5th and 6th with the damage they have? Lando now up into 5th place on the road. Verstappen drops back down to 6th. Chill went off the road coming out of turn 3, and he's hit the wall. So he was running in 7th. He's going to drop down the field, and yet again another disastrous evening for Chill. Outside of the top 10 in both races, it's going to look like in this one. He's going to drop further behind and back towards the likes of California and Mavic as this race goes on, and this is going to massively help Trident in their race in the Manufacturers Championship. Meanwhile, battle at the front of the field. Larkin only 1.3 seconds clear of Campbell now. They're closing him in, and Toxic's being brought with him as well. It's only half a second between Campbell and Toxic. It's going to be a fight between these two for the last 3 laps of this race. Miami has dropped well out of penalty range. It all depends on whether Toxic picks up a 2nd penalty in this race as to whether Miami can get back on the podium, because at this rate Campbell might build out enough of a gap ahead of Miami himself as well. coming out of the final corner. Is Toxic going to be close enough to Campbell? It's got really sideways through 17, and that's ruined his run out of the corner. He's not going to be close enough to Campbell. Surely not down to turn 1. 7/10 as he crosses the DRS line. That will not be close enough. Campbell will hold on for the time being, but with only 2 laps to go when they cross the line next time round, there's not a lot of overtaking opportunities left in this race for Toxic to make the move and try and get up to Larkin in this one. Miami still runs fourth. Meanwhile, Verstappen again going for a move on Lando down the inside, and Verstappen gets it done yet again. He's back up into 5th, ahead of Lando in 6th, and Zalderman meanwhile has got past J. Cole for 7th, so Zalderman's going to jump the pair of them on penalties in this race. A good recovery after a terrible opening lap.
And then tossing right into the Campbell in turn 4, inside of 5, trying to get that second place on the road. He squeezes Campbell out, and now looking for P2. Campbell fighting back though, round the outside of turn 6, will try and claim the inside for 7, but Toxic might just have this one. He has a nose ahead, round the outside he goes Toxic, and he gets that second place. Absolutely superb manoeuvre from Toxic MML. This time he gets it done cleanly, and this time he runs to that second place. Campbell gets a better run though, coming on turn 12, this battle's not over yet. Campbell backs out of it, lifts off the throttle, just hangs back. You look at DRS yet again to give him a fighting chance down the main straight. Larkin's advantage at the front now, 2.2 seconds with 2 laps to go. He looks comfortable, has a net 5-second advantage. Campbell struggling to put the power down.
Toxic's round!
Toxic's lost it! He's into the wall, breaks his front wing, and now surely he drops out of contention. Toxic recovers, he rejoins the race, but with massive front wing damage. He's behind Zanima, he'll be behind Jekyll as well. Disaster for Toxic after he just claimed that second place from Campbell with a brilliant manoeuvre. Makes the error down to 8, and it looks like the championship fight may well go on to another day as Lando sits behind and Jekyll fights back on Zanima, locks it all up. Zanima back around the outside of turn 2, they make a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. Jekyll, I think, will have it done. Around the outside, spears off wide, almost into the wall, loses it out, and now Toxic comes back at him. Goes for that 7th place, and will get it. So Toxic now runs 7th, Zanima in front and 6th. What drama here. Toxic drops well down the field after that. It means that Campbell will get P2 and looks like he'll hold it. But Larkin looks like his championship fight will live on another day if he can just make it through this final lap.
What a gift for Larkin that Toxic has made a mistake. We thought he'd iron those mistakes out as Larkin picks up a penalty, but he will be fine because Campbell's got 2 behind him and Miami's too far back to capitalise. So Larkin's going to hold on for the time being unless he picks up yet another penalty. Then he'll be under pressure from Campbell. We've only got a lap to go in this race, and Campbell is not within DRS range when they cross the detection point now. He is not close enough, so Larkin will be safe in the first 2 DRS zone. So Larkin's just got to hold on for this final lap for his first victory, and it feels like quite a while for Larkin in this one. Toxic then runs 7th. J. Cole's going to be all over the back of him with that amount of damage that Toxic has, and Toxic did it the lap before. He was all over the road coming through 16 and 17. He gave us a warning, and then he actually went off the road. I didn't think he would spin the car, but he did. Ended up in the wall. He's down in 7th at the moment with a penalty. Meanwhile, Lando and Verstappen is still going at it, and Lando might have timed this to perfection because he now gets the move done down towards turn 1 on the final lap. He's up into 4th place, but still Zaldimer is close enough to capitalise. He will take both of them on penalties, and Zaldimer will somehow recover to 4th place in this race, having dropped to 10th at the end of the second lap. My word, what a recovery that will be. California and Chill are going at it now down into turn 1, and Chill turns into California at turn 1. California's just going to hold on to the car though. Chill with a lot of damage, and now Tim's trying to get in on the action as well, but he spins on the curb on the inside of turn 3, just about holds the car. J. Cole and Toxic going side by side through the middle part of the lap. Toxic desperate to hold on to as many places as he can to try and null the effect of Larkin's race victory here, as now J. Cole have a look down the inside towards turn 7 but won't be close enough to make the move. But Toxic will really struggle in this X section. Meanwhile, back to the front of the field, Larkin has done everything he can to try and keep this championship alive, and with Toxic's mistake, it's gonna stay that way. Larkin will still be in the championship battle with 2 rounds to go. We thought it was going to be Toxic taking it tonight. It's round the final corner they come then. Larkin's going to cross the line and win the sprint race. Campbell will cross the line second. Miami wasn't close enough in the end to capitalise on Campbell's penalties, but he will pick up a podium in 3rd. Lando for the head of Verstappen 5th. Zaldimer will jump the pair of them on penalties. Up into 4th he goes. Toxic and J. Cole. Toxic held on to 7th place and got 5th on penalties with barely any front wing left. That's still a great recovery, having spun the car. Lando drops to 7th, Maverick up into 8th place, Verstappen drops to 9th, make that 10th as California gains places on penalties once again. He gets 8th place, Tim crosses the line 11th ahead of Chill in 12th, Alex will be the next to cross the line in 13th ahead of Philippe. But Larkin did what he needed to do, and Toxic made the mistakes we used to see at the start of the season. He spun the car all on his own, and that means that the championship will continue on to the next round.
Wow. What a night yet again here in Mexico. And yeah, you can see how much the order shaped up. I have no clue how Toxic has ended up 5th after all that. Even with a penalty, he still gains on that. He ends up 5th, but it will not quite be enough to keep him, to wrap up this championship in this round. Larkin just stayed in it, but surely, at last, the next round, the chances of Larkin's championship victory seem so slim at this point that Toxic now, merely, with 2 rounds to go in the championship, next to a bit of Abu Dhabi, he just has to bring it home.
Yeah, Toxic, honestly, he'll have to... If Larkin wants to continue his championship battle onto the final round of the season, Larkin will have to have a near perfect score at the next round, and Toxic to not score any points at all. So that is going to be an incredibly difficult ask for Larkin, and it's very unlikely to happen unless something absolutely crazy happens next time out. But this Formula 2 season has been so unpredictable as it is. You never know what's going to happen in this one. But the sprint race provides yet another thrilling race, and Larkin in the end picks up his first victory in what feels like quite a while. He probably won last time out. I can't even remember when the last time Larkin won a race was, but that is the sprint race victory for Larkin. Campbell won the podium, 2nd place in both races tonight. That is going to massively help him in his battle with Verstappen. He'll probably move up into 3rd in the standings after that race for him. Miami, a podium as well for him. What a great night for Miami, a 3rd and 4th place finish. Zaldama recovers to 4th after being 10th at the end of the first lap. My word, what a recovery from him. Toxic ends up 5th with barely any front wing left on his car. J. Cole crosses the line 6th ahead of Lando 7th. California 5, again another one that gained on penalties, ended up 8th ahead of Maverick 9th, and Verstappen only 10th in the end. What a disaster for Verstappen that sprint race was. Tim ends up 11th ahead of Chill 12th, again another poor night for Chill. Alex in 13th ahead of Philippe 14th, Jordan 15th. Matthias has such pace, but both races compromised with damage and having to pit early on. Ebo crosses the line in 17th, Nolan a lap down in 18th, and Spag and Freak Fronk did not finish the race. A night to forget for Spag. Unfortunately for him, had great pace, the same as Matthias, just got caught up in incidents that weren't really his fault, and that's why he's down at the back of the field. What a great night of racing, and in the end, championship continues on to the next round.
Just about, but yes, indeed it does. And we're going to be looking forward to that one, of course, at Abu Dhabi. I'd say that's probably going to be our championship round. This one was very much in doubt. It didn't go Toxic's way, but I think the next one, with all due respect to Larkin, I think even he'll agree that the next round is pretty much foregone conclusion.
Yeah, I have to agree with that one. Even just looking at the championship standings, Larkin's biggest point score in a single round so far this season has been 41 points, and even if he scored that again with Toxic without scoring, that still wouldn't be enough. He'd have to get pole, race win in both races, and fastest lap to pretty much secure his spot in the to secure his spot in the championship battle going into the final round. But then he'd have to do the same thing again at Brazil at the final round to win the championship. So I think I definitely agree with there that Larkin will probably resign himself to the fact that this championship has been lost, but it wasn't won tonight. That's the key thing. Toxic wasn't able to take it home in Mexico for the 2nd season in a row, so the championship continues on to Abu Dhabi. That is where we're going to round off the stream today, guys. Though before we round up, though, actually, Daka, I'm going to ask you the question that you absolutely hate. Who was your favourite driver? Who was your favourite driver? Who was your driver of the day?
Favourite driver? That's good. That's a high pressure question. I think for driver of the day, I've got it between 2 contenders, and it's Campbell and Miami. I think they both pretty much got it all out of it. Although I think that Campbell could well have won that. He could have well got a double victory today. Of course, didn't quite go his way. Toxic drove very well for the most part, but obviously just that. That sprint race was a bit of a disaster in the end. Still got 5th place, mind you, but ultimately just didn't quite go his way. You know what? I'm gonna give it to Miami, even though Campbell technically outscored him. I think that he could have got victory in both races. It didn't quite go his way. I think Miami pretty much got every point that he could have done. Didn't pick up a single penalty, I believe, tonight. He drove pretty much perfectly.
Yeah, him and his mate California 5 both run. Obviously, they're also close friends, I believe, both those two, Miami and California. I think they were the only two tonight that didn't pick up penalties. So if that's how it goes for the rest of the season, that's going to bode well for the end of the Formula 2 Championship. And Miami's pace as well really has been on the up recently. He's running in the bottom end of the top 10. This will move him up the championship, I believe, ahead of Pease now, after Pease has had another non-show. So Miami will be up to 8th in the standings. That is now where we're going to round off the stream today, though, guys. Thank you very much to everyone for tuning into the stream again today. Thank you to all the drivers for taking part and for giving us yet another incredible race. Tune into League Racing TV, by the way, tomorrow to see me and Daka commentating once again. The Esports Masters League is back, and a lot of people that you see racing today will be in that tomorrow. So go and support your fellow teams, your drivers as well in that. That is sure to be another great round. But from myself and Daka, it is thank you very much, and we will see you this time next week. Goodbye.